And we're on, and you're back.
I am. I'm finally back in the world of everyone else. It's been very strange. It just feels like, yeah, a completely different time zone. I just wasn't with anyone else at all, really. It was
Good birthday treat. So you had no idea where you were going.
no, it was a surprise. So yeah, we got to the airport and we headed off to Nashville. So yeah, had a really good time. It was so fun. We yeah, super busy, had a jam-packed week. We walked 100 kilometers over the week.
Wow.
So yeah, that was good fun. We experienced a American gym. We went to quite a good like muscle gym over there. We took a walk up there one day.
Nice.
Um, yeah, and I haven't trained legs like that in a very long time, so I felt that for the last couple of days. But yeah, it was incredible. But back to reality now.
Yeah.
So
Me on
yeah,
the other hand, I went and had my eyes tested and then got told I was getting old because my eyes were getting worse. So,
amazing.
right, you've got the questions. We've got some good
I
ones.
do, I do. Let me just get them back up. We do, and I'm saying very relevant ones that I think I might be able to help with after this week. So, um, we'll start with the top one. So, any advice for overcoming mindset issues and finding motivation again after a break?
I'll let you go with that one, considering you've just been away.
Yeah, it's one of those things I think with mindset and motivation, people always rely a lot on that motivation being there all the time. And the reality of it is it isn't and it never will be. I think even for people that train for years, there will still be days where they really don't want to train. And social media is very good at painting this picture of these people that are in great shape, they're training all the time, they're showing you what they eat in a day, but that isn't their 24/7 reality. You need to remember that is just a snapshot. And all you've got to do is make a few days worth of content and you can recycle that, you can reuse it, you can post it on the days where you're maybe not feeling great. And all it's done for everyone else is made it very difficult to think, oh, they can do it every day. Why can't I? And the truth of it is, it's not motivation. And I've had this conversation a few times before that actually, they say, oh, you're so motivated all the time. I'm like, I'm not. There's a very big difference between motivation and discipline.
Yeah.
And I think if you're struggling and you're thinking, oh, I really don't want to train tonight, or oh, I just want to order a takeaway because I can't be bothered to cook, that's the mindset and that's what needs changing. But the motivation, you can't rely on that coming back before you make that change. So we got back home yesterday, everything was unpacked, straight back to work today. Um, I've then planned in meals where I've actually had some vegetables for the first time in a week, which has been lovely. And my programming, I'm going for a swim after this evening. Do I want to go? Absolutely not. I am still tired, like still readjusting. But actually, for me, the longer I drag that out of coming home from holiday and think, those post-holiday blues, the harder it will be to get back into that routine. Whereas if you just throw yourself back into it, and it doesn't have to be go for your hardest, longest session, ease yourself back into it, but do something.
Yeah.
You know, don't just sit around doing nothing and wait for that motivation to come back because it won't and it'll just get harder. Um, so yeah, I've gone for a swim this evening because easiest one to get back into. It's like least effort. It will be very chilled. Um, but it's doing something that's still part of my routine. And by doing that, it will just get me straight back into it a lot quicker and easier to find that motivation again, I guess.
Think you kind of hit the nail on the head with this idea that when we look on social media and you see all the fitness influencers, what you need to remember is that social media is the highlight reel.
Yeah.
And I'm a fitness professional. I'm in the fitness industry. I'm somebody with a fairly well established or a very well established workout and fitness routine, nutrition routine. I work in a gym. If I've got 30 minutes or an hour, it's very easy for me to go and do the exercises. But, and especially at this time of year, it's dark when I get up and go to work. It's dark when I get home. I'm indoors all the time. I'm not working outside. I don't feel like working out, and that's the reality of it. Even those of us who work in the industry and have easy access to these things and have those routines, we don't feel like it all the time. And that's something that I think the general population have to remember, and hopefully that kind of makes them feel a little bit less guilty when they don't feel like working out. I'm full transparency. I did a workout Sunday and Monday this week, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, I didn't do anything. I'd got
Mm,
full days training clients, and the half hour that I did have between any clients, I chose to rest. And that's, I don't feel guilty for that. That's a good thing, because I just listened to my body. And then I've done a workout today. I'll do one tomorrow, and then I won't do one Saturday and Sunday because we're going away. And it's social media is that highlight reel. And like you say, they kind of they take a whole host of photos and then post them on. You can't trust what you see. But I think if you've had a break, there's a couple of things, a couple of steps that you can use to kind of get yourself back into it. The first one is, start small. Don't
mhm.
stress about picking up where you left off. If you've had a week or 2 weeks off, don't think, right, I need to get back into doing 4 or 5 sessions a week, if that's what you're doing, or even 3 or 4 sessions a week. Just start off by doing a little bit extra. So, if you were used to doing 3 sessions a week and you've had a couple of weeks off, aim to do one or two and set that as your non-negotiable goal. And if you get all three, that's a bonus. And instead of thinking I've got to do an hour each time, make it a smaller starting point, and just say, right, I'm going to do 10, 20 minutes, because what you'll often find is that you end up doing more anyway. Also, focus on the process and progress, not necessarily hitting your goals all the time.
Yeah.
So if we have a week or two off, it's perfectly normal to lose some of, especially if you're strength training, perfectly normal to feel like you've lost strength, because you've lost that little bit of conditioning. The strength hasn't gone, it's more
Mm,
the conditioning. So just focus on the process and just trying to get back into those small little things, and celebrate the wins. If you've managed to do a full workout, celebrate it.
yeah.
Feel proud. Remind yourself of what your reason for doing it is. Remind yourself of your why. And this is something we've spoken about before. Make sure that you are clear on why you're doing it.
Yeah.
um, whether it's weight loss, whether it's improving your fitness, whether it's maintaining muscle, or doing something, paying into the health pension for later on in life. Just remind yourself of what your reasons are. Have them written down so that you can remind yourself daily. And that sometimes can just help bring back that kind of a motivation again. And then last thing is, I guess, just review your goals and maybe
Mm,
set some fresh ones. Because if you've got fresh goals, that excites you. You know,
yeah.
I- it's very easy if you get into the routine of just stagnating. And I had this over the summer, and then I had a fresh goal to try and fit into the suit for my sister's wedding, and that helped sort of bring back, certainly the focus on the nutrition side of things, helped bring back that kind of excitement again. So, fresh goals can kind of remotivate you and bring back that excitement. But I think the key thing is just be kind to yourself. If you've had a week, 2 weeks off, just be kind, because this journey, if you've been doing these the gym workouts for 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks, you can find that you get into a rut, and just that's normal. Don't be hard on yourself. That is perfectly normal. you
Yeah.
know and just a little bit of a refresh and a reset. And we've said before, having a reset every sort of 9, 10 weeks is just to refocus you again for a week or 2 weeks, just to get that kind of process back on track, I think, is the main thing.
Yeah. And I think I do completely get it, because I think once you've been out of routine, or you've been on holiday or had that break, it can be hard once you've knocked out of that routine to then get back into it. Because you've been doing whatever else and that's been fun, or you've been up to that and you just think, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, you don't always want to do it. But like you say, just doing something's better than nothing. And just the other thing is remembering how good you feel after a workout as well. Like those endorphins, it's that cycle, isn't it? And people get it the wrong way around and think that the motivation will get them to the gym and doing the workouts, and then it's
Yeah,
that way. But actually, it's doing the workouts, you'll then feel good, and that's then what gives you motivation to keep going.
yeah.
Um,
Action breeds results, breeds
yeah,
motivation. Rather than motivation, action, results. Action, results, motivation. Motivation's normally the last thing, to be fair.
yeah,
uh, yeah, it's yeah, just keep going.
yeah. Keep going. Be kind to yourself, and just like you say, start small, but get yourself, if you're on a break, going on holiday or anything like that, just get yourself back into that routine as soon as you can, really, afterwards, and it does make things easier, absolutely.
Right, next question.
Should stretches be done before or after a workout, or does it not matter?
Um, right, so stretches. Personally, people probably say this is a terrible thing. I don't actually stretch very often.
I
I
don't either.
I do mobility. I do mobility work. So one of the things that I do try and do every day, talking about having gaps between clients, I do try and do mobility work. Just even if it's 5, 10 minutes. And one of the things I do is something called the greatest stretch in the world. It's just it's almost like a yoga flow. And if you Google greatest stretch in the world, there's loads of videos to show you how to do the different kind of variations. But that's something like that just once a day. In terms of workouts, I don't tend to do warm-ups or stretches afterwards because the research kind of it's not there for it. It doesn't necessarily prevent injury and it doesn't necessarily prevent soreness or anything like that. It can reduce soreness sometimes, but it's not necessarily there it doesn't necessarily have the effects that we think it does,
Mm,
despite what some people might say. Um, Stretching can help mobility if you do it daily, so it can help increase your range of motion, but when it's paired with strength training. I think if you are going to stretch, there are two different types. You've got dynamic stretching, which is stretches through movements, range of motion, and then you've got static stretching. Strictly speaking, you should be doing dynamic stretching before the workout. So moving before the workout, like if you're doing a run, you'll see people doing lunges or swinging the legs around. That's a dynamic stretch. And then doing static stretches where you're holding the stretch for 15 to 30 seconds after the workout. And that can potentially reduce soreness. But in terms of preventing injury, there's not much there. Personally, if I'm doing a workout, my dynamic stretching, I guess you would call it that, is just do the movement, but with a light weight. So if I'm squatting, if I'm doing heavy squats, I'll start off with a light weight. I'll start off body weight, maybe with the bar. Then I'll build the weight up over a couple of sets up to my working weight, and then I'll do that. So I guess that's my warm up. And you can do
mm,
that for any sort of exercises. So deadlifts, if I'm doing heavy deadlifts, I'll start with a couple of RDLs, just lightweight RDLs to stretch out the hamstrings and glutes. And then again, I'll build the weight up until I'm doing my working sets. But yeah, that's the only real warm up I do. You don't need to spend hours on a treadmill or on cardio machines trying to get yourself warm. Just do a few basic movements of the movement you're training. So if you're training squats, do squats. If you're doing RDLs, do RDLs. If you're doing bench presses, press with lightweight, and the same with rows. And then stretching afterwards. If you're feeling tight, just focus on the muscles that you've used. So if you've been doing a chest workout, you're focusing on stretching out the chest, maybe your triceps. If you've done squats, then you're looking at stretching out your quads and your glutes, but don't overthink it. And I think, 3 to 5 minutes of stretching before and after is plenty enough. I've seen people do like 20, 30 minutes worth of warm ups before they do a workout.
yeah,
Who's got time for that?
yeah. I think a lot of us are already stretched for time as it is. Like, you don't need to be building that in and spending that extra half an hour stretching before or after a workout.
Benefit comes from strength training. So practice the movement with light weights and go into your workout. You'll save a load of time. You'll get warmed up properly. I absolutely start with light weights. Don't go into your working
Yeah,
set straight away because that is where injury is going to concern. But in terms of the movements and the warm up, just practice with the light weights and build yourself up.
amazing. And then the last one, how do I stay motivated? So again, motivation to how do I stay motivated to exercise when I'm too tired after work or with the kids?
It's a tough one. There's For me, I always kind of say that you've got to try and make time for you. And this is something I say to a lot of clients. It's really important to make time for you. It's easier said than done than sometimes. And especially if you've got kids and you get parental guilt, and mums definitely get mum guilt. Um, dads for some reason don't as much. And that's not necessarily a bad reflection on them. I think it's just the way that society works.
Yeah.
But I think, you've got to make time for you. And it's hard sometimes, but once you get into that routine of making time for you, and even if it's just sort of 10-15 minutes to sit and relax and do something that you want to do, it's it just allows you to kind of I don't know, mentally recharge.
Yeah.
That's the way of looking at workouts. I've said this to somebody in the group, the WhatsApp group tonight. It gives you an opportunity to get
Yeah.
out of your own head. And
Absolutely.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
You can put some music on, you can switch off, focus on the workout. It'll mentally recharge you. And look at it like that. That's the first thing I would say. um, if you're really short on time, make it a family activity.
Yeah.
you know, do something with the kids, go for a walk, go for a bike ride, for a swim, go to a trampoline park, whatever it is. Maybe not a trampoline park if you're a mum. I'm loads of mums will listen to that going, pelvic floor. Yeah, yeah, she says yes. So but involve the kids, and I get quite a lot of videos from clients who, when they've done home workouts, they send me videos of the little ones with the lightweights kind of copying them, and that's the thing, it sets a good example. So if you can, involve the kids with exercise and doing things like that. But then I guess it's, with your time constraints, it's then finding a time that works for you.
Yeah.
And this is the hard one. There are lots of people who say, I'm just too busy in the morning. I'm not going to be one of those fitness coaches who says, well, get up earlier.
Mm.
But it's finding a time that works for you. And if it means that actually, you know, your evening time might be not dead time, but that relaxation time where you sat in front of the TV might be better spent going to bed earlier, getting up half an hour earlier and doing the workout. I'm not saying that's going to work for everybody before anybody shouts at me. If you are busy through the day, you've got the kids sorted, and then it's 7:30 and you're going to the gym and you're shattered, maybe don't go to the gym at 7:30, get yourself ready for bed that little bit earlier and go earlier in the morning.
Mm.
Or if it's weekends, make sure that I'm going to do weekends, make that a non-negotiable. But I think the key thing is make it fixed days, fixed times,
Yeah.
because then it becomes habit and routine. Um, and then if you are tired, don't push yourself. Make it low intensity.
Yeah.
Make
Listen to your body. Absolutely.
Do something you enjoy.
Hmm.
Yeah. And then don't push yourself necessarily to finish the workout if
Yeah.
you've not got the energy. Pick the exercises you like, do those. And then if you have any energy left over and a bit more motivation, do the rest. But
Mm.
you don't necessarily have to look at that whole workout and go, oh, I've got to do all of this. Just pick the ones that you enjoy.
Yeah. It's that thing, isn't it? If something's better than nothing. Or,
Yeah.
when people do like short runs and they say, well, you're lapping everyone on the couch, like it's absolutely true.
Yeah.
By doing those couple of exercises, it's better than, like say, sitting in front of the TV, not moving at all. It's those little things, isn't it?
Got to remember that of the British population, and these are kind of rough estimates, but the British population, there are less than 50% of the population are actually doing any form of exercise, any form of exercise.
Yeah.
That means kind of deliberately going out and walking. The average steps in the UK are it's around sort of 3,000 steps a day. So if you're hitting 5, 6, 7,000, you're already above average. There are 90%, over 90% of the population don't do strength training.
Mm.
So if you go and do one session a week, you're already beating 90% of the population. So that's something else to remember. And, don't just compare yourself to these people who were down at the gym every single day. They're not normal.
Yeah.
They are not the average person. I'm not saying they're not normal in a weird way, but,
Yeah.
they're the average person. And the other thing is it's consistency. You will get and I see it all the time. You get loads of people who go to the gym for an 8-week boot camp, and they're in there every single day. And then at the end of 8 weeks, you don't see them for months.
Yeah.
But if you've got, to me, it's not impressive for somebody to go for 8 weeks, lose 2 stone. They've been training every single day, and then you don't see him. What's more impressive is the person who's turning up every week for a year,
Hmm.
doing it out and building the routine.
Yeah.
That's impressive. You know, we know somebody on the client group, the WhatsApp group, who has lost a phenomenal amount of weight,
Yeah.
taken her 3 years. You know, she's lost about 40 kilos over 3 years. That weight is not going back on
Yeah.
ever. But in the process, she's now got the habit of getting up at stupid o'clock in the morning to go to the gym twice a week.
Yeah.
Twice a week. But you know, she's got the routine around the nutrition nailed.
Hmm.
Those habits are never going to leave her. It's
Yeah.
taken 3 years, and she's just done it little by little by little. And you know, she's works a full-time job. She's got kids, uh, and it was hard for her, but she worked out together. We worked out what worked for her, and she's just nailed it.
Yeah.
Uh, so just, I think, make time for you. Take time over this, and give yourself time. Focus on, the process itself, and little and often. Even if you can't do an hour, do 30 minutes. If you can't do 30 minutes, do 15. It all counts. Um, and then celebrate the wins. Every time you turn up, give yourself a pat on the back.
Yeah. You've done it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there's somebody I follow as well, who has a really good phrase where she's paying into her health pension pot
Yeah.
and lifting for her old lady body. That's the way she looks at it. Um,
Yeah. It's not training for the now, it's looking at how that's going to benefit you in the future. Absolutely. And I think it's again that mindset thing, isn't it? Rather than, oh, I have to do this now, it's I get to do this. Like it's a privilege to be able to move your body, and yeah, how it's going to benefit you when you get older. There's so many reasons that we exercise. It's not just for fat loss. So yeah, it's like you say, focus on those goals again, and you've got to be able to make that time for you to be the best you can for other people.
yeah, and I think if you're somebody who's always focusing on the scales as well,
Yeah.
just look at all the other wins. I've trained so many different clients whose body shapes have changed, but the
Mm.
scales haven't really shifted that much. And there's so many different clients who have lost inches, but then maybe only lost a couple of pounds, and that blows their mind every time. I've got one at the moment whose weight is going up, but they're losing centimeters, and it's going up very, very, very slowly. I'm not saying it's going up like a pound a week. It's going up like half a pound over a couple of months, and it's blowing her mind. She's like, I'm gaining weight, but
Yeah.
my measurements are going down. I'm fitting into clothes that I've not fit into for years, but my scales are different. I'm like, well, that's because you're changing your body composition, your strength training, so you're building muscle, but you're eating at a kind of a maintenance level in terms of your calories. So if muscle's going up, something's got to be going down, and you're going to be losing fat. So, look at this is why we say on the Shape Up program, we measure ourselves. This is why we
Yeah.
say progress photos. People don't like taking progress photos, but I can tell you from experience, I didn't
Yeah.
my weight loss, and I'm kicking myself now. I wish I had, because my scales read heavy. At my lightest weight, I was 73 kilos. At the moment, I'm about 86. And if you look at that, that's 13 kilos, 2 stone. But
Yeah.
I'm completely different to what I did at my lightest weight. I've got so much more muscle mass. I'm about the same body fat percentage. And it's taken a long time. That's taken 8 years to do that. But
Yeah.
it's something that, take the progress photos. And I wish I had done. And I just, yeah, I
Mm.
got now. So absolutely. Progress photos, measurements. If you want to weigh yourself, but it's not the be all and end all. And then track your progress in your lifts as well.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Cool. I think I've covered everything on that one.
Yeah. That's all of them.
That's all of them. Fab. I think we're done then. And that means you
Yeah.
can keep swimming.
I can get to the pool before 9 p.m. So that will be amazing. And get that swim done.
Fab. Right. So we will be back for another Q&A session next week. Some good questions there. Hopefully we get some more good ones next week.
Amazing.
All right. All right, then, guys. Until next time, we shall say bye for now.
Bye.